Hello there, welcome to Prime Sports. With me, Razak Musbao, the start of Accra Heart of Folk, and for Heart of Folk fan, there's good news for you because Heart of Folk board chairman Togbe Afede the has revealed the club's plans to construct a 25,000 capacity stadium that meets CAF standards for hosting games. Now, Togbe Afede made this announcement during a recent gathering of the club stakeholders. Now, since becoming the majority shareholder in 2011, Togbe Afede has consistently pursued a transformative mission for the club, evident in projects like the Pobiman Complex, which is nearing completion and has already been utilized by the team for pre-season training. Addressing the stakeholder meeting, Togbe Afede viewed that plans are already underway for the search of a land for the construction of the project.
That is infrastructure, and we are on track to fulfilling that. After the Pobiman is done, the only thing we don't have or will not have is a big stadium. CAF requires minimum 25,000 capacity stadium. So that is, after all this, that is the next thing we have to do. But I can assure you that the board, as visionary and future-oriented as it is, has already started looking for land for that stadium. The last thing, CAF FIFA, I said organization, finance, organization governance, finance, structure. To be involved in youth development, we are doing that. So we are ticking all the boxes, but it's not easy. When funding Heart of Folk is tough, you are adding auras. They also won't play free of charge. Then you are adding Royal Oaks. Then you are adding the women. So that is what we're trying to do. So we will now be complete going forward. And again, we are very happy that a female coach has accomplished, as Maestego has joined our ranks. I mean, these are some of the things that those of our teams that have qualified for Africa now to represent Ghana, these are things they must have quickly. So we already are on the road to having those things. So that's about our team structure now. So you have Hearts, Auras, Royal Oaks, and you have the Oaks. Okay, so these have been deliberately thought about and planned to ensure that we meet requirements going forward.
Now let's stay at Accra Heart of Folk and their former player, or soon to be former player, Samuel Inkoom, has been speaking about his time at the club, and he has alluded complacency as the reason why the club performed poorly last season. According to him, despite efforts by the top hierarchy of the club to boost the morale of the players to deliver on the field, some players were simply not up to task.
I spoke to Sule Mutari, and I told him that I want to come and train, and it's okay, why not? So let him speak to the coach, and after he will let me the time that they will start training. So I went to the training, and I started training, and some of the fans started. I couldn't understand how they were so, how to say, I feel at home. They want me to play for the team. They receive me very nice. They welcome me, something that I didn't expect it. So I said, okay, then let me play for them.
And you played for them?
And I played for them. Even before I went to the first training, I spoke to Safu Jemfi, which is Kotoko.
Oh, okay.
So he was trying to say, oh, wait a little bit, let me speak to them, let me speak to the coach, let me speak to
okay, he was still trying to speak to Kotoko,
yes,
so he could come there instead, yeah.
But I told him that, listen, at the end of the day, if they want me to be there, it will happen. So even me telling him I'm going for training, it was a big issue. But I told him that I respect you so much. You are a legend, and you are somebody that, when I was in Kotoko, he's somebody that I respect so much. And I told him that at the point in time I have to move on. So when I started training with Heart of Folk, I feel like, oh wow, they want me to be there. You know, they want me to be the part of the family, the Phobian family. So I was so excited to be.
Did you play for Hazard for free?
In my opinion, I would say something like that. In my opinion, because if I want to talk about in terms of money, you understand where I've got my level into, and coming to play for House of Folk. House of Folk is a huge club. It's one of the best traditional team in Ghana, in Africa. Everybody know, well known, and I count myself lucky to be in that team as well. But I'm not playing for free. You know, everybody have to be. When you work, you have to be paid.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm not.
They paid you something, but not.
Yeah.
Like.
Yes.
Yeah. And everything. Even if it is 1 city, it's still a salary.
Yes, it's salary. That's why I appreciate it. You know.
But in your period at House of Oak, there were many difficulties on the field, off the field. I remember some time you had even a go at some of your colleagues, telling them if they're not willing to play, they should move on. Why are you getting frustrated?
No, you know, sometimes the players, the young players that we have, they are very good players. We have good potential players in Ghana, and sometimes some of them doesn't know what they have. So some of us have to also be on them, you know, push them harder to let them know that, hey, you have something that maybe you don't think that you have something, you know. So I'm telling you that you have to. This is the kind of, you want to go to Europe, but it's step by step. If you don't play very well, who will see you in Europe? Nobody can see you. Play the team very well. Let the team feel that, okay, you came and you have done something, so that when you also have contract, the way will be very smooth for you to go.
And they will let you go.
They will let you go. So this is some of the things that sometimes I will even call meeting, organize a meeting, call all the players, and you know, even at the point in time, one of our games, I seize all of them phones, you know, for them to stay focused, you understand? Because yes, phones are good, but when you have the job that gives you food, you have to respect that job. 20 minutes for the game to start and you are on your phone, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't tell you that you are professional.
Now, a vibrant ceremony held at the Ni Ajay Kraku, the second official turf in Tema Newtown, marked the successful culmination of the Football for Schools project. Now, the event, which took place from August 10th to August 12th, 2023, celebrated the collaborative efforts to train 50 physical education teachers from across the country to promote football within school environments. Speaking at the closing ceremony, Minister for Youth and Sports lauded the project, emphasizing that it will improve talent identification in the country.
Football for School is an ambitious program run by FIFA in collaboration with UNESCO, aimed at contributing to the educational development as well as the social empowerment of our children around the world. Football, as we may all be aware, is the passion for many of our teen youth, and I'm extremely grateful and happy that Ghana has been given the opportunity and approved by FIFA to 10 countries across the continent in the implementation of this initiative. Madam Director, I have a firm conviction that the program will benefit teachers and students across the regions of Ghana, and it will enhance the capacities and skills of young ones in development of sporting talent, especially football, social skills such as communication, leadership, teamwork, confidence, and assertiveness. I might say that I'm very delighted to be part of this program, as initiative also coincide with my vision of distributing 1 million footballs to youth across the communities in Ghana.
Now, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kete Kreko, also added that the program will go a long way to produce football stars for the country.
You having passed these exams marks the beginning of your role in transferring same to many other people and to our kids. It's important you truly consume what you've been taught. It's important that you carry on with the passion of transferring what you have been taught today to other people and many others who are not here with us today. That you will hear today speaks volumes of your commitment to be part of a big story that has started unfolding today. The young kids that we find right in front of us will eventually be some of the stars that will be watching in the years to come.
Some club football now, and Manchester United have released a statement on the future of forward Mason Greenwood, and my colleague Daniel Cranty joins me via Zoom to bring us up to speed on what Manchester United have been saying. Remember that Mason Greenwood, he was, allegedly, he was in court for some charges relative to rape and assault, which were later dropped on the 2nd of February. But Manchester United are yet to determine whether the player will join the team back in training. But today they have some updates for us. And Daniel, what has Manchester United been saying about the future of Mason Greenwood?
Yeah, so what is it now is that we understand that United were having an internal investigation into the Greenwood matter. Today's statement basically tells us that that investigation is we are in the process of making a decision, but they also reveal that the final decision will be made by the club CEO, and that is Richard Arnold, as to whether the player will be joining the team or not. So that's the update that is coming from the camp of Manchester United.
So we just have that statement. We'll just go through that statement briefly. If you can have the statement on your screen, and it states there that following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegation made against him. The statement adds that the club is throughout the process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim have been central to the club's inquiries and will respect her right to lifelong anonymity. And, the statement also continued that the club is undergoing the internal thorough investigation. But, Daniel, there are those who are suggesting that this statement for Manchester United is an attempt to prepare the minds of all fans of the club and even all football lovers ahead of the return of the player. Is this something that we should possibly expect?
It's difficult to say because from the start of this entire investigation, in fact, from my United's point of view, had the case been resolved in court, United would not have had the need to undertake an internal investigation. But because it was discontinued, and not that Greenwood was cleared, discontinued basically means that both parties decided that they settled it out of court, and it didn't happen in court. So then it's not. Yeah, it's very difficult to tell whether he's innocent or guilty, and that's why Man United had to come in themselves and conduct their own internal investigation. And it's the results of that that will determine whether or not the player will stay at the club or get go. So I don't necessarily think that it's starting to prepare the minds of fans. Of course, reports came out earlier today that Man United were going to allow him to come back. A couple of moments or a couple of minutes after those reports started resurfacing, the Man United releases the club statement. But again, what United are simply trying to communicate is that yes, it was discontinued, so they had to do their own internal investigations. We've reached a decision, and they are in the decision-making process. And at the end of that, it is the club CEO, Chirano, that will make the decision as to whether Greenwood will stay or not. So,
Well, did they give any indication in the statement as to when this decision will finally be, communicated to the public?
As of now, we don't know when that decision will be made, but what we know is that the investigation is over and the decision-making process. I don't think the decision-making process should take as long as the investigation took. So we expect that to be quite soon. And also remember that if Greenwood is not, and if they don't make that decision fast enough, Greenwood will not be able to be registered ahead of the new season. And the transfer window and registration for players ends at the end of this month. So we expect to have a decision before then to know whether he will be drafted into the squad or not. So I think in the next couple of weeks, that decision will come out and we will be away for it.
Well, you just mentioned transfers there. Of course, it's been a busy summer. You know, clubs have been trying to secure deals here and there. Chelsea, Caicedo, Real Madrid, Kepa Arrizabalaga on loan, and even Neymar to Al Hilal. We understand you have something to share with us relative to some of the most expensive signings we've seen in football history thus far, Daniel.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. If you look at the lists, we thought this summer transfer window had some very expensive deals in there, but the only one in there from this summer transfer window is the Rice move to Arsenal from West Ham, and all the others just slightly miss out in the top 10. But it just shows you how far football has come. If you look at from the Neymar deal up until the Rice deal, these are deals that happened in the last 4-5 years. It just shows you how the market has completely changed. Nobody expected one player to be for 202 million euros. In fact, 100 million euros was almost unheard of back in the day. And that's basically an entire team's transfer budget that is being used to buy one player. So it just shows how far the transfer market has come, how expensive players are these days. And again, if you look at the top 10, doesn't necessarily relate to quality. So you look at the likes of Griezmann, who clearly didn't live up to expectation, the likes of Joao Felix, Coutinho, Dembele, these guys didn't necessarily live up to expectation as to the price tag. Then on the flip side, so you look at Ronaldo, you look at Mbappe, you look at Neymar, these guys, you can argue that they lived up to expectation. So of course, prize money doesn't always guarantee success, or it doesn't always equate to the quality of the player.
Daniel, thank you very much. And of course, we'll talk more as far as the transfers are concerned. It's on. Just about 2 or so weeks more to go to the transfer window. Prime Sports tonight with me, Razak. Up next is PM Express with Evans Mensah. Please do stay.